Earlier this week, Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff, they shared a teaser video on social media, filmed in black and white in the style of those old NWO vignettes, teasing a new project that they were involved in, and also teasing a third man, the mysterious third man. Who's the third man gonna be? And some people got excited about this. I was not one of those people. I found it more sad than anything else. But there were a lot of people, too many people, thinking the third man might be Vince McMahon. Although for what, I have no idea. What would Vince be doing with these two? Or that it could be a new podcast maybe that they were going to be doing, which is all that we need. A Hulk Hogan podcast. The sound off would be 4 hours long every single week with all the new material I would have, just debunking his various lies. As it is, he gave an interview to TMZ and regurgitated one of his many Hogan tall tales. This is not the first time that he's lied about this. He said this exact same thing on Joe Rogan's podcast a few years ago. He claimed that he was Brock Lesnar's first opponent in WWE after Lesnar left the UFC, which is so demonstrably false, it's just laughable. And no, I don't buy the argument because people will say, well, it's the CTE talking. Or he's fucking old, so what do you expect? You start to forget things when you get old. He's like 70 or whatever he is now. The reason I don't accept that, to accept that as an explanation, would be to ignore the fact that he's been lying his entire career. Like, what do you think? This only started in the last 10 years? He's been lying and exaggerating going back to at least the 90s. This is not some new phenomenon. He literally told two different versions of the Undertaker tombstone story in his two books. The man is a habitual liar. Stop blaming his age for it. The only time Hogan ever wrestled Brock Lesnar was in 2002, a full decade before Lesnar came back to WWE. Now, maybe Hogan was playing SmackDown vs. Raw on his PS4 and wrestled Brock Lesnar on there, but that would be the only time he's wrestled Brock since 2002. But anyway, it's not a new podcast, this new venture they were teasing, but the third man they touted all week long was quite the wet fart in church when they revealed who that person was, and that person is Izzy Martinez. Now, if you're saying, who the hell is that? You're not alone. If you are into the amateur wrestling scene or the fight scene, then you probably have heard of this man. He's a wrestling coach. He has helped train John Jones for some of his UFC fights. He was Holly Holm's coach when she beat Ronda Rousey. But anybody else who would have actually given a shit about this announcement and cared enough to get excited about this likely has no idea who this person is. And the new project is what they are calling Real American Freestyle Wrestling, a professional freestyle wrestling league that they are launching this summer. And Izzy Martinez is going to be their chief operating officer. But my favorite part of the press release is the part that says Hogan and Bischoff are reuniting for the first time in 25 years, following the creation of the New World Order storyline that catapulted WCW to record-breaking ratings. I guess those years they worked together in TNA was all a bad dream. Now, to be fair, it was a bad dream for a lot of people. I can understand them wanting to pretend like it never happened, but it did happen. This is not their first time working together in 25 years. The new league will feature 8 men's weight classes and 4 women's weight classes, with their first event taking place in Cleveland on August 30th. Olympic silver medalist Kennedy Blades has committed to the league. She will be the face of the women's division, while Ben Askren and Zahid Valencia will compete on the men's side. Bischoff is setting things up on the production end, while Hogan will be the league's commissioner. So the public face of the league. Not that he will be the one actually making the key decisions, which he won't be. But Hulk Hogan being the face of a freestyle wrestling league is just pure comedy. Hogan said, "I see this as an opportunity for me to get involved, brother. To get back. Quit sitting on the couch, dude. To get involved with a bunch of powerful athletes, Jack, that I can relate to as far as championship material. Guys that are on top of their game. And I couldn't pass on it. Bischoff told Alfred the Cheeseman at Forbes that the league will be about world-class athletes, elite-level athletes, Olympic-level wrestlers, collegiate champions, but in a professional environment with a lot more entertainment. You know, I can remember something very similar being said about the XFL. How it's going to be about smash-mouth football, but with a lot of entertainment added. That didn't work out too well. So naturally, Hogan's Real American Beer will be the title sponsor for this because, of course, it will. But they have other sponsors that have signed on as well. I'll say this. If anyone is dumb enough to dump their money into a Hogan Bischoff project at this stage, they get what they deserve. I'm sure there's some audience out there for this that's into the Olympic wrestling aspect and the idea of these kids potentially making money into the seven figures, which is what Hogan said. I mean, that's a nice idea in theory, but I can't see there being an audience big enough to support something like this, not for the money that it would take to sustain it. And none of these wrestlers are making money into the seven figures without some big media rights deal. Hogan as the commissioner for a freestyle wrestling league you know what that would be like? It would be like replacing Gary Bettman with the Goon as the new commissioner of the NHL. Some people might even say that would be an improvement. You know, I'm not a big NHL guy. I don't get the sense, though, that Bettman, for whatever reason, is well-liked. But that's what it would be like. Hogan told TMZ he thinks it has the potential to be just as big as WWE and UFC. Yeah, with comments like that, I hope for his sake they don't have drug testing for the commissioner in this new league. Believe it or not, though, there was one thing that Hogan actually told the truth about this week. He was asked by Forbes about the John Cena heel turn in relation to his heel turn and the formation of the NWO. He said, when he turned heel, we set it up and then we delivered. And then not only did we deliver, we rolled out with me, Hall, and Nash. And that story kept snowballing and snowballing. And we kept getting more evil and evil. And so for me, watching that story with John Cena, when The Rock did the throat thing, cut his throat, and John Cena turned heel, I expected more of the same. And then John Cena came out there, and there was no Rock. And I just got disconnected at that point because I was expecting the characters to keep rolling out like we did. So I know everybody's got movies and obligations and stuff, but it didn't feel like that big tidal wave coming at you. Even a broken clock is right twice a day.